みほちゃん
ザビトルズ
さあ今日はあいにくの雨ですが、やはりこちら行かなければいけません。マジカルミステリーツアー行ってきます。
I'm John and I too play guitar. Sometimes I play the fool.
Alright, good afternoon. Welcome aboard the Magical Mystery Tour. My name's Neil, and the guide, this is Ross, our wonderful driver today. For the next 2 hours, or thereabouts, we're going to take you to the suburbs of Liverpool and show you some of the places made famous by the Beatles and other bands from the 1960s, including some of the birthplaces, the schools, the homes, maybe a bar or two if we get the chance, you never know. So the not to do any stereotypes, but that's where we've got the Irish on board. So for the next 2 hours, as we'll head into the suburbs, we actually start the tour right here. First port of call is the Albert Dock, Europe's largest collection of Grade 1 listed buildings, and of course situated right at the banks of the River Mersey. That river was made famous in 1964 by a film and song of the same title, Ferry Across the Mersey, song performed by Jerry and the Pacemakers, another band also managed by the Beatles' second manager, Brian Epstein. It was also on that river, Christmas Eve, 1945, that Pete Best and his family arrived from India on a troop ship from India. Pete, of course, being the first of the full-time drummers with the Beatles. But also during the 1950s, Ringo Starr got himself a job working on the ferries as a barman. That was a job that was to last him only about a week. As we'll find out a bit later, Ringo didn't like working for a living. Should have been a coach driver, you know. While you're at the docks, you may have noticed the new marina on the next dock along there, the King's Dock, M&S Bank Arena. The official opening was done January 2008 by Ringo Starr. Now Paul McCartney's also made a couple of appearances at the arena. November 2008, we were very lucky to host the MTV Europe Music Awards. Paul's in attendance. The area is probably more famous for the riots 39 years ago. But this area also played home to the Quarrymen's first public appearance. Quarrymen, of course, John Lennon's first band, this skiffle band, which he started at Quarrybank School. The first public appearance took place 22nd of June 1957. It was a street party to celebrate 750 years since King John had granted Liverpool its first royal charter. There's a very famous photograph of the band playing at that gig on the back of a coal truck. Although it was their first public appearance, the Quarrymen were actually paid 10 shillings, 50 pence for that gig. Right, this area we're moving through, this is the Dingle. The whole area was due to be demolished. We had to campaign for 8 years. Luckily, last year we won an 8-year campaign and we managed to save these houses. Instead of knocking them down, they've been renovated now, people are moving into them. Does anybody watch the TV show Peaky Blinders? I didn't say who doesn't watch it, did I? No. So you watch Peaky Blinders? Okay, there you go. So there's Garrison Street from Peaky Blinders. So I said we've got everything here in Liverpool. Even the most famous road in Birmingham is here in Liverpool. So halfway down the right-hand side will be Thomas Shelby's house. See, while it was derelict, they just painted it all brown. That's where they filmed it for the first 6 years. Why don't you watch Peaky Blinders? Well, you can get on catch up. What's the problem? I think you need to start watching it now. And then come on the tour again, and when I say, anyone watch Peaky Blinders, you can go, yeah, I do. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, it's great. This is Mandarin Street. So if we look down the left-hand side, the 5th house down on the left is number 9, Mandarin Street. And it was there, 7th of July, 1940, Ringo Starr was born. So he lived there for 4 years with his mother and father, Richard and Elsie, till they then separated. Ringo and his mother stayed in that house. His father moved out. He moved with him with his parents, not very far away, just down the street, number 59. But about a year later, Elsie met a new man in her life, a man called Harry Graves from Brighton. Now once their relationship was well underway, they decided to get themselves their own house. But liking this area so much, they didn't move very far. Just this little side. on the right. Number 10, Admiral Grove. Now when you look down this one, it's halfway down the right hand side, the White House, now painted white and pink. On Friday and Saturday evening, Harry and Elsie would come to this little pub on the corner, the Empress. Harry would play the piano, Elsie would sing. Their favourite song was a Doris Day wartime song called Sentimental Journey. When Ringo released his first solo album, he called the album Sentimental Journey as a tribute to his mother. The Empress Pub was featured on the front cover of that album. Album released 27th of March 1970. When Ringo was 5 years old, he was given that terrible news that he had to stop.
I've been told when a boy just a girl take a trip around the world. Hey, 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 hey.
Photographs at the street signs of Penylane. As we turn in, you notice there are street signs either side. The one on the left, just above it, on the wall, is the remnants of some white paint. That's because the street signs were painted on the wall from the late 60s, because the council got sick of replacing them. And the Beatles fans from all over the world kept borrowing them, not bringing them back. So they just painted on the wall, let people chip away to their heart's content, and write all over it. So we jump off, get the photographs. I can talk about Penylane as we're moving. The video was released called Free as a Bird. Now the video to Free as a Bird was shot along Penylane. As we go over this railway bridge, what you see coming up on the left and right, all the shops and everything, did feature. So Sergeant Pepper's Bistro, middle of the roundabout, formerly a bus and tram waiting shelter, where pretty nurses sold poppies from a tray. That is the reason the lads were to this area. Basically, this is where they meet to get, used to have to meet to get the bus to school. To the left-hand side, the first corner, you got the Penylane surgery. That was the bank on the corner, but the banker never wore a mask in the pouring rain. It's very strange. And then on the left-hand side again, just here, Tony Slavin was formerly Bioletti's, the barber shop, just there. So as I say, the song is written about what was going on while waiting for a bus to school. See, John was at the art college. And Paul and George lived in Lynch, both in the city centre. But because they all lived in the very south of the city, they'd have to travel. We've got a 2-minute drive round into an area called Wavertree. We'll make our next stop, jump off the bus at the birthplace of George Harrison.
Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer.
That's what you're saying? People always say
Make our way to the top of the hill. Coming up on the left-hand side of the top of the hill is one of the most important places in the history of rock and roll music. You can see St. Peter's Church, Walton. The church hall is actually on the opposite side of the road. It's a tall red brick building set back slightly with a red roof. See it better as we get up there. But it's actually back of this church, 6th of July 1957. The Quarrymen were playing at a garden party. In the crowd watching that day, a young lad called Ivan Vaughan. He brought his mate from Speak, and I called Paul McCartney. When the band had finished their afternoon show, we set up in the church hall, just set back there on the right for the evening performance. Ivan and the Celtic Paul to meet the band. The first thing Paul McCartney said to John Lennon was, I noticed when you were playing the guitar, you'd only use 4 strings. John said, yeah, it's because Mum's been teaching me on a banjo, and I know how to use 4 strings. Paul went to the notice to also change the words to some of the songs. John said, you ever don't know them? I make them up, it's more fun. Paul said, I'll play the guitar as well. John said, go on, then show me. Been a bit cocky because Paul was younger. First thing Paul did was pick up John's guitar and tune it. That impressed John because John couldn't tune a guitar. He used to pay people to do it for him. Paul then turned the guitar upside down, played it left-handed, played 20 flight rock, note perfect, sang it word perfect. So again, John was impressed.
Socks in the night when there's nobody there. What does he care? All the lonely people. From his hands as he walks from the grave.
I'm going to make our next stop. Here's your photographs right outside the gates of Strawberry Field. Salvation Army, and they opened a home for 40 girls. Over the years, been a Salvation Army children's home, an orphanage, special needs school. John Lennon used to play in the grounds around Strawberry Field. His Aunt Mimi would always shout at him for being in there because it was private property. John's answer was always, it's alright, you can't hang me for it. Nothing to get hung about from Strawberry Field forever. In the 1970s, a new building was built with a donation of £100,000 from John and Yoko. That building was demolished just on 2 years ago. Just there. The reason this house has got a blue plaque on the wall and George's house hasn't is because the English heritage give them plaques out. We'll only give a plaque to somebody who's been dead for 20 years. The logic behind it is if you still remembered after 20 years, you must have been famous. Now John's bedroom was the small one. She then shouted at him, what gives you the right to buy me a house? I was asking. He said, look, you looked after me for 18 years, it's my turn to look after you. Only cost me £20,000, plenty more where that comes from. She accepted the house and lived there right up until 1991, until she died. Now we've got a couple of minutes to drive, Salvation Army, and they opened a home for 40 girls. Over the years, been a Salvation Army children's home, an orphanage, special needs school. John Lennon used to play in the grounds around Strawberry Field. His Aunt Mimi would always shout at him for being in there because it was private property. John's answer was always, it's alright, you can't hang me for it. Nothing to get hung about.
Let me take you down as I'm going to Strawberry Fields.
Small one above the door. So I say Paul's bedroom, small one above the door. The downstairs front. In Liverpool. But the jazz era at the Cavern lived by mid-1957 had run on regular skiffle nights. During 1957, the Quarrymen did actually perform at the Cavern. Although Paul McCartney didn't perform at the gate, and Ringo performed at a couple of different bands, but the skiffle period again, very short-lived. In fact, Beatles fans are coming to see where the Cavern was. We need to tell them that this isn't the Cavern. So they put a plaque on the wall, and the plaque said, the original Cavern stood opposite where it stands today. So that was great. So everyone walked in, they see the Cavern, oh, no, the original Cavern was over there. Now a car park.